This meeting is being recorded.
Thanks, Paul. I'm going to mute you. All right. Thank you for joining us on Worldwide Slot Car Chat on Zoom, number 139. I'm your host, Greg Gaub. The gang's all here with John and Luff and John and Jerry and Paul and David and Mike and Krister and Anthony and Mark and Phil and Don and Dennis and Jeremy and Jim and Courtney and Big Dan and other people. And we're going to talk about slot cars for the next 2 hours. I did get another email from Google. So now it is time for us to do the big giveaway. So now we have the $200 budget instead of the $100 budget. So start thinking about what you want to give away. It can be a big ticket item or, you know, 2 regular ticket items or, you know, whatever. So we'll figure it out. So let that roll around in your head. Hopefully it's something that is readily available or, you know, if not easily available, then at least available at all. Like a big ticket item might be a tire raiser, or not a razor, it's not a razor specifically, but a tire truer of some sort. But it has to be something that I can just order. I think that's it. So we'll talk about that some more later, and we'll start off with show and tell. If you have something you want to show and tell other than me, raise your virtual hand so I make sure not to miss you. And then we'll do Club Corner and all the other stuff. Nobody but me has a show and tell, or everybody's still looking for the show and tell thing? Paul, you got a show and tell? You got to unmute yourself. I'll ask you to unmute since I muted you. There you go. Unmute.
Unmute. I've done it.
Okay, there you go.
Right, I've been building. I've got the Scaleauto Radical. I've got 2 of them, in fact. So I've been building a new chassis for one, and I managed to get a couple from Spain. Well, 4 from Spain. So that's the chassis I started doing. I'm just waiting to true the tires on it and everything. But the best bit, you're going to like this, Greg. Ta-da! It comes as a white kit.
Yay, now it's going to be a blue and yellow kit.
Yeah. So that's another one for the mix, which is an absolutely lovely body. But you can't, they're so rare to get hold of. I got these from Evotech? Autotech? I can't remember now. It's a
Evotech, probably.
Evotech. But I noticed I've tried to put that the chassis, right? This is my ordinary one I've got. That chassis in that configuration won't go on that body because they got extra these things on the back. There's like moldings on the back there, 2 moldings, whereas that one, I don't know if you can see, it's got no moldings.
Oh,
interesting.
That is weird.
So you got, it's like they got vents on the side of the car, and the rear vents intrude onto where the flexi is. So I don't know what mark that would be, Mark 1 or Mark 2. I don't know whether they altered it or not. But that is it. That is the new toy. The Jag's in primer. I've primered this chassis up today, which is for me. It's a new to go on that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Ferrari.
308.
That's a Mustang chassis, which I also got from Spain. And it just clips straight, the body goes straight on it.
On a Mustang?
Hey, no, the company's called Mustang.
Oh, okay. That's for me too.
3D printed chassis. It's the same chassis. Basically, they've done the bottom half the same, because on my other one, I cut all the sides off of it and stuck it all to, all I was left with was the middle of the chassis. This one, I'm going to see what it's like. I'm going to build them both exactly the same and see how they run. Because one's got an Amato chassis under it, and that's a Mustang chassis. So, see how it goes. That's it.
That's it.
When you got that chassis, did it come with the original parts for it? Because my pod is different than your pod.
Which one's that? On the
On the scale, the Radical.
On the Radical, Yeah. No, I got the actual original Radical chassis is there. That's the original Radical chassis.
Yeah, inline.
Yeah, the inline with the little clap. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Then I took that out and bought one of these, which is the cat.
Oh, okay.
It's the
I
cat
thought you were using
chassis.
the original. That's fine. Okay.
No, but this is Scaleauto chassis. This is an original Scaleauto chassis. They done for the angle winder to take the angle winder pod.
Yeah, but for that body.
Right.
Yeah, for the Radical.
So the white kit body fits on the angle winder chassis just fine.
Yeah, just goes straight on there. There's no issues whatsoever with it going. It just goes straight on.
Yeah.
So my Radical also came with the that design and room for an angle winder, but I could only ever fit the slotted half size cant, whatever that is, the slotted the flat six. I could only fit the flat six in it before it would sit up there, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I was trying to see if you found something new, because I could never get anything else to fit in there.
I
Do you
got
race them
well
on,
that
do you race them on the club?
yes.
And how's the performance over there?
They're quicker. It's a lot quicker with these. They all transferred over to these chassis. I kept the cat chassis, but the cat chassis doesn't have. It's not. I drove my friend's car who's set up exactly the same as this one is, and it handled far better than the cat chassis. So I don't know what Radical or Scaleauto done to this chassis, but it's a lot more flexible. It's a lot more forgiving than the original chassis.
We drive them on wood on our track in our club.
Sorry?
They are the most quickest one in the LMP class.
Yeah. Well, the only other thing that's quicker than a Radical is my SRC Toyota.
Okay, I can imagine that there.
That is just, I mean, so I've got the uprated chassis in that,
Yeah.
and but that's all Scaleauto, all SRC parts on that.
SRC,
I've not
yeah.
changed anything. All I've done was spent €20 for a new chassis for that chassis.
Okay, that will
So
be the
that-
next one for me then. If it can beat a Radical.
That does beat Radical.
Okay. And do you drive it on foam or rubber?
Rubber, and it's on a wooden track.
Okay, we
My
drive
track's
them on-
wooden, and
we
the
drive them on foam.
club track's wooden. Sorry?
We drive them on foam.
Yeah, we're not allowed to.
No,
Not allowed to use foam.
Interesting.
But-
Thank you.
Paul, the chassis
Yeah.
from the Toyota is, are you sure that is SRC and not a 3D printed one?
No, it is the SRC lightweight chassis. That is, you go onto the SRC site, and that is €20.
And it's injection molded, not 3D printed.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
can see the
that looks-
SRC badge there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's injection.
Yeah, thanks.
But the front is all loose on that. The actual front, or the front clip on it comes off, because I've had 3 front ends on it, because it bends. If you hit it hard, it'll twist it. And they say put it in water and magnets and everything else, but it doesn't go back. It will not go back. But that's it.
All right, thanks, Paul. And Dewann has something he wants to show and tell. Go ahead, Dewann.
Okay. I just had a nice little Christmas.
Awesome.
Actually, just got delivered yesterday. Few items, classic items that came in. Let me
I was gonna say you might have to turn off your background.
well, I don't know. Let's maybe. Yeah, I probably have to turn off the back. Well,
Oh, correct. Right.
Yeah, tilt it down a little
Yeah,
bit
that's
so it's
good.
not shiny. There you go.
yeah.
Nice.
So that's. I like these old vintage things. So it's a 32 Ford Then I got a 56 from
T-Bird.
T-Bird. Yep. Picking up a nice little bargain. All brand new. And the 57 Bel Air.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be real vintage racing.
I was gonna say, where'd you dig these up? Aren't those fairly
Yeah,
old?
they're old. They're old new stock. New old stock, what are you gonna call it? And my other jewels that I got. I already had one of these. Now I have two, and I'll be doing something special with it. But this is the
The polar lights, or?
Polar Lights Green Hornet.
Oh yeah.
So I'll go ahead and put this together. I might change the motor out of that. I don't know. I have two of these kits. So
I mean, they're fine for parade laps.
It's not
Exactly,
possible
that's
to
what
have too many kits. Apart from
exactly
John
what we
kits,
do.
there's only one of those at a time.
But I bet I have two copies.
Of course, and the Batman, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the Batman. So that's gonna I'll make those as show cars that can
Those are 124th, right?
those are 132s.
132. Okay.
No, they're 132s. They're reissues from the 60s.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the
In
132.
fact, the Aurora is more 132 for the Batmobile than the Scaleautrix is than their most recent result. Yeah, or release.
And the Tumbler, that's even less 132.
Mhm.
So that's
like
my
a
selection. I
record.
got six little toys. So,
That's the right stuff for the Batman track, that's for sure.
exactly. Not your typical racer.
All right, good stuff.
You did well for Christmas.
Yeah. All right, thanks for showing that stuff, Dewann. And Dennis put his hand up. What you got to show today, Dennis?
Oh, just a little thing. You know, we've run races on my track now for probably 11 or 12 years. And over that time, there've been a lot of guys come in and out, raced with us, and it was not, and some of them unfortunately have passed, you know, because we were all getting a little older. Some of the guys just got to a point where, like a friend of mine said, the parts are no longer available for an old model like us. Yeah, so, you know, and unfortunately they ran out of parts for some of those guys. But so I decided I was going to do something about it. So let me just give you a quick screen share. And shoot, where is it? Hold on.
You better not be turning that track in for an exercise machine.
No. Something.
That's why he's in his chair. He's resting.
There we go. All right, now I can do it. Share screen. There it is. I had my son make a plaque that hangs on the wall next to those. I think if you've seen some of the photos of my track, my wife made a couple of these ceramic tiles that have cars on them, and so next to that hangs this plaque, and I've got a slightly better view, I think. But basically, it has the logo at the top, and it says remembering those who have raced here and passed on, and then the names of the guys that have gone. With unfortunately, of course, a little space left at the bottom.
Dennis, I think you've just created the ultimate track call.
Yeah, I guess.
You might be able to zoom in if you have a wheel on your mouse. You might be able to just scroll it up and down with your finger.
Except that I don't have a mouse right now. I only have my. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Do you still have a mate to run with you?
Yeah.
Did you run out of guys yet?
Yeah, no. I haven't lost them all.
Okay, good.
It's just these couple that have gone.
I found it impressive.
Yeah.
And my son has one of these super laser engraver setups that he does. Actually does a lot of stuff that he sells. That's basically his business. And so I asked him to do this for me, and I was really quite impressed. That was
Sure.
so. If ever anybody else feels like they need something like that, let me know. I can always put you in touch. Anyway, that's me for today.
I like that. Makes you think, should I go to his track and race on it? Because I might end up on the wall.
Well,
It's
put it this
cursed.
way, you will only end up on the wall if you happen to have raced here, because there are a lot of guys who I know that have passed on that didn't race here that are not on the wall.
That's why I'm not going to come over and race on your track then. I'll bring me Arsenal Ferrari over.
Okay.
The first requirement's not bad. The second one's not good.
Yeah, true.
All right, on a lighter note, I guess it's my turn, so I'm going to share my screen. And I went ahead and took a stab at 3D printing the Glickenhaus hypercar model that I shared with everybody. As you can see, I forgot to properly support a couple of very important things, but I went ahead and let it finish, and it actually finished okay, except for obviously the lack of the fenders back here. But yeah, that's the mess you get when things don't work correctly. But then I just reprinted it with the proper supports, and brim is what I really needed. I trusted the adhesion on my printer too much. And so like this part got knocked over and this part got knocked over, and then it just, yeah. Anyways, so that's properly supported. And then that's the underside of all the supports. And then that's after
Nice chassis.
that's after about half an hour of pulling supports off, because this one was printed with a material that the supports don't tear away very easily to begin with, but I also printed it with variable layer height. So I was trying to reduce the all these stair steps on the rounded parts, and one of the side effects of that is that you don't have the same gap that you do between supports and print, and so it sticks a lot more. But I managed to get it all cleaned off without completely destroying the shell, and did the necessary trimming and cleaning up various things. This is the chassis built up with some spare slotted parts and a spare slotted pod. And for the front, instead of putting in the spherical bushings, I put in the plastic things that slotted include now, and just jammed them up to the top so the little clip goes into the hole, and then dropped a little glue in there, because way up is about where they need to be. So those are just held in place. It works great.
Very nice.
There's the underside of the chassis, and there's the completed vehicle.
Now, sorry to interrupt, Greg. Is that the car you used for the King of the Hill?
As I was just about to say, if you've
I'm
seen,
sorry, I was so excited about your video. Sorry.
if you've seen the video that I posted late last night, we used this or I put it up for the host to choose from the available choices for the King of the Hill. The way that we run King of the Hill is anybody who wants to put a car up, the host can't use their own car. So the car has to come from somebody other than the host. And then the host chooses from whatever cars have been put up for King of the Hill. So I brought this print, and he decided to go ahead and run it. So you can see that being run around on the King of the Hill, which I'll talk about more later during Club Corner. But that turned out well enough. I went ahead and printed a blue one. Nicely enough, the tail fin did not need any special supports. It had enough bed adhesion to complete. And I've since printed inline pod for it. So this is a printed pod. That is also a printed guide. I'm thinking about doing printed inserts, because the guys liked it so much that I'm going to move forward on building a 4-car set for IROC racing. So when I'm done with that set, I'll have an IROC of these guys. Of course, they asked about glass and interior and stuff, and I'm like, you guys know how little I like building cars to begin with. I'm not going to get a vacuum former to make the glass. But if anybody wants to, I'll print the buck, and you can make your own glass, and I'll print you a car, and you do what you want. But the IROC set is going to be glassless and interiorless and lensless and mirrorless. This is what the IROC cars are going to be, but they'll all be colored. So I'm printing a red one and a yellow one now. The gray and the blue will be the other two cars. Probably the trickiest bit, other than cleaning all the support material out of the shell, is cleaning up the slot that the wing goes into in the middle of the shark fin.
Correct. I had a minor mistake myself.
Yeah, so this one you can actually see the split right there. Split that whole top part off. Fortunately, it didn't split all the way, but I just cut out as much of the gunk in there as I could to fit the wing in there, and then shoe goo to the rescue to help hold it in. And that's pretty much it for my show and tell. So I'll stop.
Can you print that in different colors?
Yeah, in fact, I'll go ahead and you reminded me of another thing I was going to show. Hold on a second here.
Can you print it looking like that?
You can print it looking like this.
Oh, yes, please.
So yeah, I'll probably do this at some point. That's the best layer. This is basically just change. Anybody can do this. You don't have to have a fancy printer like mine. This is basically print it in blue up till here, and then do a filament change on your printer, and then print it in yellow for the rest of the way, or whatever colors you want. This was the
Can you do a
best
blue wing with it?
What was that?
Can you do a blue wing with it?
Of course, yeah. I can. Any separate part can be printed in any color, so I can print the wing as blue. That would.
So,
Yeah,
I'll have that.
that'll look nice.
You know I would.
But yeah, I picked the layer at which it changes color as best I could. So basically, the whole cockpit is yellow.
I like it. I like it.
I think it'll look nice. So I'll probably end up doing that at some point.
I'm still waiting for my surprise to come through the post yet. I haven't looked on the site or anything.
I just checked it before we started the recording, and it's in the UK somewhere. I don't know where it is now.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, we got postal strikes left, right, and centre, so I'm still waiting for stuff from Pendles.
Yeah, that don't hold your breath for that one, but I'm sure it'll get there sooner or later.
But can I have one of them?
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. So that's me. Do you have any questions on that before we move on?
Greg, when you go to pick your colors, can you use any color? I mean, how does that work in printing?
The only thing that you need to worry about is keeping the same material type. So these were printed in PLA. You can't print part of it in PLA and then the rest of it in PETG or ABS or other materials, because they don't always bond properly. But as long as you stay within the same material type, the color can be whatever you want the color to be, and you can change it at whatever layer level you want, as many times as you want. No, I've done prints where I had this one guy ask for a Nerf accessory for his 44th birthday, and he wanted 44 stripes on the Nerf thing. So I cut that thing, however many times it was necessary to get 44 stripes of alternating colors, and then printed that. And so the machine was printing a few layers, switching, printing a few layers, and switching for hours and hours. But yeah, it's pretty versatile. You can do a lot of things with that.
Have you tried that with TPU yet, Greg?
I have not personally, but I've seen people do that. There's a guy on the multi-material group for the Prusa MMU that I have, who prints drone accessory parts and drone decorative parts.
Yeah.
In TPU, of course, because it's a drone, and he does fancy, so like the colors are, like looking like a puzzle piece or an alien with slime and stuff like that. And he does some pretty impressive things with TPU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I haven't done anything with it yet, but when it comes to the slot car bodies, it seems like it'd be a good material for it. But it sounds like it's difficult too. So
yeah, TPU is tricky to print with. I've only done a few TPU things in just black, but TPU sticks to pretty much anything. So one of the things that you sometimes see people do is print like a cell phone case where like the sides are TPU, but the back is PLA or some other hard material, and they stick together just fine. Some materials will stick together, but not all materials. But yeah,
okay.
TPU.
Nice.
I thought about that too, printing TPU body, because that stuff will take a beating and just stay you know, but
Yeah.
it's tricky enough to print with that I haven't tried.
Yeah. One of these days, maybe. All right. Well, thanks,
Hey, how
Greg.
much does it weigh?
Excellent question. So last night when we were driving those cars around, one of the guys asked that, and I said, I have no idea. Put it on the scale. And the blue one, the gray one came in at like 84 grams total, the whole car, body, chassis, wheels, motor, everything. And the blue one was like 88, 89 grams. And the difference might have been because the pod was printed on the blue one, which would have made it slightly heavier than the injection molded pod of the gray one. But otherwise, they were a lot lighter than I expected them to be.
And to confirm our discussion of last Zooms, in resin it was 7 grams more.
Heavier, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the guys was asking about that, and it's basically that, you know, it makes sense, right? Because the resin, you're not going to get any air in the print at all. And I think resin is just denser.
Correct.
Yeah. All right, I'm done. Moving on. Dewann put his hand back up. What do you want to toss in, Dewann? Oh, he's ready to share. Don't forget to unmute.
Revell, American Home Raceway.
There we go.
Yeah, I did forget I picked up a couple of vintage items. This is like my 4th Americana set. This was the biggest set that Revell put out at the time, 4-laner system. And I'm just kind of like, I find nice bargains, and I just want to kind of acquire them and find nice homes for them. So I did put on the Facebook forum anyone who was interested in acquiring them, and I clean them up and everything that be available. So this, I think I have three Americana sets box for the most part. And then I'm also going to be putting on that vintage Revell Facebook page some updated things on best practices. This is the underside of a typical Revell 4-lane. This is a curve, the subsection, what I call it. And Chuck Gipke, who's been on our chat for a while, he and as well as Greg, I actually commissioned you to try to make some of these little special clips.
Yeah, Chuck did all the good work.
Yeah, so he actually was a little more innovative than I had anticipated in that he created these little clips, and he has them in 4 different sizes based on how well the gaps or how tight the gaps are or are not. And so, but you can see that by placing them there, it really keeps the track, because over the course of time, especially the curves, centrifugal forces put on them, if you're into physics and things like that, it tends to work the way of the track components to fall out. Well, not fall out, but to start coming apart. So this right here keeps them in place. And I'm creating a video that talks about how to do this and the best practices for doing it on Revell, and that's going to be posted up on our vintage Revell site. So I just kind of did little things on that. Oh, I lost it. These were the tools. These were the tools that I used, WD-40, to kind of squeeze the joints together and just look close up at the different appliance tools that I have. That's it.
Cool. Looking forward to that video then.
That is cool.
Alrighty, Henry, you've got your hand up. What would you like to share? Oh, hold on. Let me spotlight you here. There you go. Oh, you got the Thunderslot already?
Yep.
Beautiful.
I know the distributor in Holland, so I was one of the first over here.
Well, did you put it on the track?
Yeah, I made a video this night, and it's on my YouTube channel. And I did a comparison with the Scaleauto Camaro, but it's not a real Scaleauto. It's tuned up. So this is one of the fastest cars I have for the V8 in our class and our club. And I did a test run with out of the box Shelby.
Should we spoil the video or?
Now it's 14 minutes.
Okay, so what was the results? I expect the Thunderslot blew the Scaleauto away.
No.
Really?
Out of the box? No.
Hmm.
I have my RMS is broke from, but I did a timer with my telephone and I did 5 rounds for each car. And this car was 2 seconds slower.
Two whole seconds?
So yes, and it's 2/10 on a lap.
Wow.
But saying that, with some adjustments, it's gonna win. I'm sure that I already tried it. A little bit of oil, tuning the front tires, the axle height, etc., etc. So nothing fancy. The car is lighter than the Scaleauto. It hasn't got any magnet in it because we can drive with 40 grams magnets in our club. So it's gonna win definitely on a plastic track. For wood, I wouldn't say that because our experience with Thunderslots on our wood track is not too good because the chassis are not very stiff. But I don't know about this one. So let's see next week. It's gonna be a winner.
It still doesn't look like any kind of Mustang I've ever seen before.
That's correct. Also,
Oh, yeah.
I speak in my video of some minor mistakes that I make with the colors and etc. Some faults. It's because it's an expensive car, and
Yeah.
if you look, it's $90.
Wow.
I think it's
Yeah.
a lot of money for a car. If you look at the driver, it looks like how do you call it? We call it Roodkapje, a riding hood.
Little Red
Riding
Hood.
Hood, yeah. Roodkapje.
It's dreadful. So
It's a little far forward in the
but at the end,
cockpit too.
it has a lot of potential, and I'm very glad I bought it. So let's tune it up.
Yeah, I think
Cool.
Dennis might have been referring to the NSRification.
But it's just there's something in the proportions of the car just don't look right.
It looks okay from the back side, but once you get to like the front fenders, it kind of like it dips or something.
The whole hood and fenders looks wrong to me somehow.
They are also higher than the Scaleauto. So at the front and at the back.
So how does it compare with the Pioneer one then?
I don't know. I don't have a Pioneer.
Yeah, because that's the car to compare it with, I guess, is the Pioneer, the Bullet Mustang, to get the right shape.
I did compare it with the Scaleauto 69, so I think that.
Oh yeah, but we're talking more about the shape of the car.
Yeah, overall
not
appearance,
the performance, the appearance and the shape and the proportions.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. It has more volume, I think.
Yeah,
it's different.
That's
let's talk about. Let's be real. How many cars are one-on-one? They have to make a slot car of it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll hear a whole lot more about those when more people get their hands on them. Both love and hate.
So when do they hit the market, Henry?
In Holland, about one day for Christmas.
Okay.
And I know the importer, the how do you call it, importer?
Yeah, imported.
Yeah, in Holland, and it's slot racing to go, and they have last week get the proof to get it imported over here. So I think the Netherlands is one of the first that were released.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I think yours is the first.
And he only got 20 cars.
Wow.
So
I'm just checking pendles.
I don't think there'll be a lot in the beginning.
No, I mean they're distributing them worldwide pretty much. So every retailer is only going to get a few.
Yeah, but 20 for Holland. That's not a lot.
I mean, maybe they saw the scoffing that everybody did at the appearance of it and decided to only order 20 of them. That looks terrible, everybody was saying.
Now, if you want to, at the end, you want a competing car, you're going to get this one.
Yeah.
I'm for sure. For plastic track, I know for sure.
Well, on Pendle's website, every single car's on pre-order.
Yeah.
And that's £87.
I was going to say, if you want that car, put in your pre-order.
Yeah, otherwise you're not going to get it.
Otherwise, you're not going to get it, or you're going to be paying much higher prices for it. I think even in spite of complaining people were doing, that's going to sell out right away.
Yeah, but 90 euros.
Yeah, well, the other Thunderslots perform fantastically, so people are getting a cool looking car, and they believe it'll perform well. So.
Yeah, but one third more money than slotted. I think you're daring.
Diminishing returns, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Henry, you implied that you guys had not had good luck with Thunderslots. Why is that?
Maybe it's our track. I don't know. It's specific on our track. If I had 3 Thunderslots, and if I drive them on my Carrera track, they're wonderful. They're one of the quickest car you can find. But when we drove it on our wooden track on slipstream, it is not reliable. You can make 4 turns, 5 turns, and the 6 turns, it's gonna come off. And we did all sort of modifications, a harder chassis, harder from everything. We built strokes in it. It's unreliable every time. So we don't drive them anymore in our track, and we bought about 10 members, 10 cars.
Henry, is that on foam tires?
We drive them on foam tires, yes.
Did you change the guide?
We also drive the wooden track guide, the red one.
Okay,
from Scaleauto.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So it's unreliable every time. And
Interesting.
we did everything with it because we liked it very much. I think it's because the stiffness.
No, we've had good results here at Electric Dreams with them.
I'm thinking maybe it's the foam tires, because every track I've been to on rubber tires, they dominate.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, but the rule set is over here is we drive them on softs.
No, yeah, no, I understand that, but that may be the reason. Maybe that chassis just doesn't like foam tires.
I understand you, Jim. Yeah, maybe it is. Yes.
I've got 3. I've got the Lolas and the McLaren, and they're on rubber tires on my wooden track, and they're fine.
Yeah.
Well, they have a stiffer chassis. They have 3 different chassis stiffness.
Correct, and also a stiffer gray one inside for the pot. And
right, have you tried it?
And I did plastic in it. I tried to stiffen it up, and let's say we're not fools in our club. We tried everything, and if it turns every time of the fourth corner, and it's getting out of the corner, it's not reliable.
I wonder if it's too light for foam tires.
Sorry?
I wonder if maybe the overall, the car's just too light for foam tires, and it suits rubber tires pretty good.
Yeah, but you guys run foam. So.
Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah,
on the right
I just try to figure out why, because
Did you guys? Did you add a bunch of weight?
I'm building another one with a 3D printed chassis.
You're putting a 3D printed chassis under a Thunderslot?
Yeah.
Why?
And
because it ran really well on the other 3D printed chassis.
Mhm, mhm.
I've got two white kits. One's the Can-Am Lola, and the other one is the T70 Spider, the normal Lola. And I've got asked Amato to make me a 3D printed chassis for it, and that is the chassis
from a Lola.
Yeah,
it's interesting, Henry. I found that I raced a Carrera 935 that I've got in foam tires because it's a pretty tail happy car. And I found that same thing on the foam tires, that it was unreliable. You could go through the corners okay one time, and the next time the same speed it would go off.
Correct.
So I would attribute it more to the tires than I would there. And of course, if the weight may be the factor there, thinking about it. You know, if it and foam tires don't have as much slip generally as other tires.
Has more grip.
Yeah.
So it can push it out.
Right.
In the corner.
But yeah, I found that too, the consistency. In fact, if you look at the video from last week, oh, actually I haven't put that one up yet. Never mind.
I mean, it sounds like Henry knows what can be done, but based on the rules, he can't do the one thing that needs to be done. So, yeah. All right, let's move along. So, thanks for showing your cool new Thunderslot Shelby Cobra, and let's go to Gio's got his hand up. What do you want to share today, Gio?
Just the last car, GT3 car that I finished. I mean, some pictures are already online, but I thought to share over here. Let me see.
If you want, I can go to your thread on Slot Forum and show.
I should be able to do it over here.
Okay.
Okay, so Aston Martin Landage Mark II from Sideways. So usually I'm kind of enjoying doing like a base color in black and then building up the colors on top of it. So kind of starting building up the red colors on top of it. So this is one of TF90, I think, that raced Le Mans in 2020, I think. TF Sports, yeah. So
Nice.
this is basically the work already done with the decals. So I think the decals from, I don't remember, maybe Atalaya, the Spanish guys. I might be wrong. I have too many models going on at the same time. So some bit of a detailing. So I don't know why bloody slot cars makers stopped putting nice details. Maybe because a lot of people is bitching about having fine details. So kind of building up a bit of extra grills in order to make them pop. So these are from metal mesh. Anyway, so I also do my own, when I can, my own lightweight interior. So these are my vac former, let's say. So I just use the plain interiors from come with the cars as a kind of my buck for it. So which is not ideal, but I mean, for what I need to do, I think it's more than enough. And that's basically what I use as a plastic. Basically, I'm using black plastic plates, like party plates. So that's what I use as a kind of my raw material. And the usual thing, putting in the oven and blah. So actually, this is another kind of material, it's a transparent one. But I mean, mainly I do with the black plastic one. So this is basically done. So I was trying to be smart here and also do the veins that goes into the front, into the what's called bonnet. Yeah, I mean in the cover, in the front part of the car. So I wanted to go like with something lightweight, but it didn't work out as I was expecting. So that was a failed experiment. So these are the plastic plates that I use for normally for doing the interiors. It's not my idea. This is from Wobble. I mean, one of the user in a New Zealand user in on slot forum as well. That he came up with these ideas, and there's a bunch of stuff that I put together. So I think I started this car in September, October, so quite a while back. But you know, life has been pretty busy, so I mean, now that I'm on holiday, so I'm trying to finish as many projects as I can. So I'm a bit of kind of a freak for lights, so I try always to experiment and try new things. So these are the front elements with the 2 LEDs per bucket, let's say. So these are just try to remember which is the positive wire before starting putting everything together. So these are the front bundle. So I try to be as as neat as possible in terms of wire management, but does not always work as a plan. So here you can see the 2 front elements plus these 2 big LEDs here will be used for the fog lights. So these will basically start moving things inside the car. I also put a couple of LEDs on the side windows as kind of position lights. I mean, because we like also racing. So one of our race in our club over here, we do night racing as well. So completely dark. So it's good to have a couple of extra LEDs to identify your own car. So these are basically more wires. So putting in now here you can see in position also the rear for the LEDs for the rear lights. A bunch of extra things. So, and this is basically one of my interior, the lightweight one that I basically painted with the roll cage from the kit, and then installed. And with everything, basically the car is super light. I mean, 17.2 grams, which is a bloody good for a GT3 car. And everything, yeah. So with all lights and stuff installed, and this basically the chassis, according to our rules, as you know. I mean, or maybe you don't know, but I like racing digital over here, so we do manually oxygen, and so this is what the car is. So basically everything almost stopped. I mean, no, I mean, yeah. So the chassis is the only maybe part that is a Sideways original. And the front tires and the front wheels, and the rest is basically from other bits and bobs. I mean, I think most of you can recognize what they are. Also the spool gear is the original one. Yeah, and this is the car put all together. It's a pity that, I mean, the inserts. Thank you. The inserts from Sideways are pretty nice, but they have a huge kind of they leave a huge gap. I don't know why. I mean, on top.
I don't know why they do that either. It drives me nuts.
I mean, I try to reduce a bit. I mean, kind of to make it like go more inside, but I mean, you can see that it's covering. So in the rear tires, I have aluminum wheels, and you can see that that extra lip that is around the edge of the insert kind of covers it to make it a bit more prototypical, let's say. But I mean, it's still too far off. Anyway, and this is the car on the track with the lights on. Don't know why, but there is this bloody gap on the fog lights. You can see that the black rim and stuff is kind of going for it. Although when I try, I mean, they are pretty much pressed in as much as they can go. So the light is bleeding around the edges. But once I start racing, I don't think I'm gonna see much of that.
Oh, I see the gap.
Yeah, I mean, on the picture looks really bad. Yeah,
it's a pretty car.
It is.
Very pretty.
Wonderful job.
Say again, Henri.
Gio also did a really great lighting tutorial on Slot Forum, showing how he puts his lights together and puts them in cars. I think that's worth talking about too. So I'll try to remember to put it in there for people to go look at that.
It's a major pain in the butt.
Yep.
Gio, do you use a decal setting solution?
So basically the one that I was originally used as I think many of you is the micro scale one, but I had always better results. Too much, they kind of wrinkle and then they say leave them and then they kind of set down and whatever. Never worked for me. So I moved to on Mark Fit from Tamiya. People say that it's very aggressive, but to be honest with you, once I start using this stuff, never had any problem. And I don't do anything. I just basically put the solution on the body, and then I move the decals directly on top of that and leave them. And I don't do any extra, like you could basically work them out with a bit of sandpaper, to kind of remove edges or whatever, but I don't do any of that.
Okay.
The only thing that I do is I don't immerse my decals into water. I use basically a bit of paper towel that I kind of put water in it, and then I put the decals on top of that, and I let basically soak the paper. Soak the water from the paper towel, and then I use that like that. So I don't know if it makes the right. For me, it works much better. I mean, and I learned this from Tamar when we did the 24 hours Le Mans in 2016. So basically, the car, of course, was the morning, I think, of the qualify. The car was still not ready. So at breakfast, like I was eating my breakfast, he was still making his car and preparing our car, actually, and used this method. I mean, like, asked the waitress for extra paper towel, went to the toilet and covered this stuff full of water, and they putting like a decals on the car while eating breakfast. Right?
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Side. No problem. So, Greg, if you want, I can do I can show a couple of pictures of the light kit if you want later on. I mean, maybe you could want to go, Big Dan, go first.
Yeah, okay. We'll swing back to you.
How low is it? No, 0.5.
Huh?
What's your offset?
No, it's the 0.1, Henri. That's what we use. I mean, it's the white one. I mean, the standard. Seems that there is a new one coming from Slot. It is going to be black. It's going to be 1.5, I think.
It's a nice motor. It drives good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Good stuff. We'll swing back for some of that lighting tutorial stuff. And Big Den, your turn, sir.
Very much, and thank you, Gio. Nice to know there's a bit of Antipodean solidarity, for him allowing me to jump in. Yeah, not a lot. Mate. Thanks, Cover. Yeah, not a lot. Just a screen share to start with. It's just something. I've got a bit of a fondness for Avant Slot. They seem to turn out some lovely looking cars. I'm just trying to be able to hear my. There's my share screen button, and let's just see how we're going now. Right, you guys got that one up?
Coming in, there we go. Yep.
Yeah. This is one my good friend Phil. I've got to keep on the right side of him, seeing I infected him a couple of weeks ago. It's a beautiful body, a Lotus Elise. Pendle were offering the bare chassis and the body kit for a reasonable price. I just like the look of it, so I bought it, and I've got plenty of Avant Slot components that I can finish it with, with pods, and there's a few wheels and tires and things in my inventory that I can slap onto it. So that was one that I'm just looking forward to getting it on the track. I've got a couple of the LMP cars that run reasonably well, so I'm hoping this one for our local LMP GT1 class will go all right, and maybe even down in Hobart in a few months' time when they hit the track. Greg, if you could just I'll just stop the share there. And if you could just spotlight, going here. I see John Webber's on now, so I've got my little MRRC Porsche 904. See that okay?
Yeah, nice. What's chassis? Yeah.
There's the Sebring chassis. Yeah, this is very narrow. That's about a 45 millimeter rear track, and no reason to think the front one's any wider. So I'm actually one of our local guys bought a prefabricated track from our local Mr. Slot car or Mr. Tracks down here. So I'm thinking of setting that up with a magnet just to be able to run on that track, as it's nice, and he's got a fairly tight turns. So that might be a good car for that. So that was from the sublime, and now to the ridiculous is this. I was talking a few weeks ago about trying to encourage some flexi racing at our local track to get a few extra guys in. So I bought this wing body or door stopper body from someone for very few dollars a few months ago. So I just decided to paint it, and took me quite a while to paint those numbers and stripes on, but cutting them out from the decal sheet was quite difficult though. But anyway, they've been sitting in in my bin for ages, and finally they're on a body. So I'm not sure whether I'll get to a retro chassis. I'm more likely a JK Scorpion chassis, Dennis. So
I wondered what you were going to put under that.
Yeah.
I bought a Scorpion. Is like vintage, man.
Yeah. Well, I've even got a more vintager one. I've got the original JK chassis from back in 1991 that I've had a fondness for as well. Just again, JK's a bit of a pet brand of mine. Regarding your earlier comment about there only being one John Kit, of course, he is a limited edition.
Yeah, so, true.
That's why there's only one of him. So a bit like me, except the problem with me is they broke the mold while they were making me. So that's why I look like I do. And the other thing I'm sort of wondering too is whether Henry's going to buy a second one of the Thunderslot Mustang so he can have some races with that little grandson of his. I could just see them going around with €90 cars. So.
he's worth every penny. So that doesn't matter.
I'll look forward to the next video then, Henry. Okay, that'll do me for now. Thanks.
All right.
Henry, my granddaughter destroyed 2 of my cars, so you've got plenty to get him through.
All right, gentlemen, we're halfway through. Let's figure out what we're going to give away. Does anybody have any suggestions? Unmute and chime in. I'm listening.
What about a Thunderslot Mustang?
Thunderslot Mustang. I like it. I'm putting it on the
analog controller.
A beginner level analog controller, something with
yeah. I mean, yeah, you could. I don't know. I mean, like a
2-knob controller, like compressor motor, DS, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Something under 200, because anything with more than 2 knobs is going to be more than $200.
So a slotted controller will be more than $200. I don't know what's.
Okay, I'm talking about everything but slotted, because you know how people are.
Yeah, just give us a freaking manual and say read it first. Because I think once you read the manual, should be okay. Anyway.
Yeah, it's like actually look at it. Anywho, so
how much are those
controller? Go ahead, Dewann.
How much are those polycar 4-lane tracks? That's
way more than $200, that's for sure. But hey, you can chip in the difference if you want.
I just saw something cool. Harry Wise showed the NSR RC Cola 2-car kit.
Oh yeah,
that one's really cool.
Yeah,
it
comes in
2 cars.
It's like I can't remember what it is. It's like a Porsche, maybe
the Porsche
917.
91710.
Oh, okay.
And it's like 2 cars in one. I would assume that's going to be close to 200.
Yeah, it was like 190 bucks, I think. I saw it.
The
Boom.
RC Cola paint jobs.
What was that, John?
They had the RC Cola sponsorship paint jobs.
Yep. Livery. Yep. All right. Anything else? So I threw some things on a list earlier. So a truing machine, like I mentioned, but the question is which one? You know, readily available. I just checked Electric Dreams, and they're already sold out of the RSMs that they had brought in. I can still order an RSM from Overdrive, but you know it takes months to get it.
How about we just make one out of like sandpaper and a block of wood?
I could do that. I'll send somebody a piece of sandpaper. Henry, yeah, oh yeah, I put the test bench on my list as well.
I make one for free.
You're gonna donate one?
You only have to charge.
You're gonna charge him.
What do you want for it?
Charge him postage.
Shipping?
Only shipping.
Only shipping. All right. Well,
that's
then
a deal.
definitely going on the list. All right.
So do you want to allow people to choose from a list, or you just want to do one thing?
So what I was thinking of is hopefully just have, you know, not a whole lot, because one of the other things I was going to add is like, you know, if we pick up a tire chewer, I'll throw in a reciprocator if it needs one. I was also thinking about adding the magnetic scale apparatus thing with the scale, because that'll only cost me a few bucks. But what I was thinking is once we have the items, I guess we could either have it all go to one person, or we could have each item go to a separate person. So we'll have to make that decision. But then if we say each item goes to a separate person, then I was thinking that when the person enters, you know, whatever we decide as far as keyword or whatever for them to enter in the comments, put in what they want to get, right? So they can only try for one thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, so if you're entering the contest, if we decide to go this route, then, you know, we would say, okay, do whatever you need to do, and then put the thing that you're hoping to win, and then we'll do multiple drawings at the end for each prize from the people who are hoping to get that prize. Because I don't want to give a tire chewer to a guy who's already got a tire chewer, right? Or you know, or two, right? Some people have more than one, or whatever, right? I mean, who can have enough cars? So there's no, you know, cars are easy. You can send a car to anybody. If they've already got one, then they have a racing pair, you know. So, but when we're talking about other stuff, you know, maybe they don't need, you know, maybe they've got a magnet marshal, so they don't need the scale apparatus thing. You know, maybe they've already got a test bench. They don't need another test bench. So that's what I'm thinking. If we do separate, and I think that's probably the way to go. You know, kind of doesn't make sense to just make this big list of things and just give it to all one person. It's more fun.
I have another idea.
Okay.
I have another idea. So I think about myself, for instance, what I would like to have around the 200. So, I mean, I'm not going to participate. I mean, I think for other people will be. But I was thinking like, you know, not like a kind of a Dremel or drilling device with a very nice, precise bit. I don't remember. So there are a couple of those that are quite good, but even, that I don't remember what is the name, but.
A rotary tool.
Kind of, yeah, correct, yeah. That will be something that will be high on. Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's the one. Dennis was thinking proxy. Yeah.
Not the one Wayne keeps buying for himself.
I missed what Dennis said. What did he say?
He said Proxon.
Proxon. Spell that for me.
Proxxon.
Okay. And that's a rotary tool, like a Dremel.
There are also
amongst other bits and pieces, but they have a rotary tool, yes.
I mean, mentioning tools that slot car people would find useful, a soldering iron or soldering iron, depending on what part of the world you're in. You know, you can.
I was going to say,
the venerable, I forget what the brand is. The one that it's good quality, but not super expensive.
The yellow and blue one.
Hecko 601 FX.
Yeah, something like that.
That's the one to buy. That's the only iron to have.
How much do those run?
The hacker? Oh, about $90, I think.
Oh, cool. Okay. So that would be with
Dennis,
They're under 100.
discount
Yeah.
dreams.
What, Paul?
So Dennis, to get your discount electric dreams.
Dennis
card
can't
from
get
Electric
himself a
Dreams.
discounted electric dreams, dude. So don't think about that.
Dennis is working off his debt. That's why he's still there.
No, Dennis is trying to work up a credit so that he can.
Okay, so I think we've got some pretty good ideas.
John Weber's got what it looks like a. Oh, is that a
you holding something up?
milling
Where
machine
is
or
it?
something? Or
I'm trying to find him in my screen full of pictures.
That little
There we go.
Unimat one.
oh yeah,
That might be. That might be. Is that under 200?
Yeah, $20,000.
No,
Yeah, no, that's
not
out of
anymore. Not anymore. They used to be, but they're not anymore.
yeah,
And
like
they're not
1969 maybe.
They're not anywhere near as good. Those things are not anywhere near as good as they look, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
They're
Jack of all trades.
way too flexible to do anything decent apart from maybe cut foam tires.
That's what I use it for.
Okay, so I'm just going to recap the ideas that have been presented so far, and we'll narrow them down a little bit more later. I might narrow them down before we all narrow them down, but I've got some kind of truing machine. Somebody is welcome to help me figure out what that might be, if not an RSM. Reciprocation device if the machine needs it. A magnetic downforce scale apparatus printed thing. An H&B test bench generously donated by Henri, and I will pay for the shipping to whomever that is around the world. A Thunderslot Mustang. An upgrade analog controller. So, for example, a Professor Motor 2 knob, a DS, or a Slot It. The NSR RC Cola 2 Porsche RC Cola livery set. A decent rotary tool, such as from Proxon, and a Hacko 601 FX decent soldering iron. So we will revisit that list before the end of the 2 hours, which is less than an hour away. And so also think about how the person will enter for whatever prize they want to win, whatever special silliness they need to put into their comment, whatever the case may be.
Must like blue and yellow.
Must like blue and yellow. That is that's it. We've already made that decision. No, I'm just kidding. We'll talk about that more later. So it looks like we're done with show and tell. So that means it's time for Club Corner. I've got some Club Corner. Does anybody else have any Club Corner they want to talk about? Again, this is any kind of past, present, future, more than yourself driving a car around a track talk. Jeremy's got his hand up. Go ahead, Jeremy, and then we'll get to Mike.
All right, let me see if I can share screen here. Last weekend, we raced at, everybody can see my screen, I assume. We raced at, there's a small winery about an hour away from me, and in the bottom of his winery, he has this track. So we raced that. We had 8 people there, which was pretty good for the middle of a snowstorm. So we also have a race coming up here in Iowa this Saturday, actually, at another track. So if you happen to be in the area of Iowa, which I assume none of you are, but stop on out or hit me up. That's it.
How does an Iowan get a hold of you?
That's a good question. We have a webpage, www.imar.club. That'll take you to our main webpage. From there, you can contact us anywhere you want. But the next race is closer to the Newton Speedway, if you're familiar with NASCAR. So it's about 10 minutes from the Newton Speedway. So that's it.
Hey, Jeremy, you got that website right, Jeremy? I thought it was www.cornandhogs.
No, we do have like 7 hogs for every 1 human here. We are the hog capital of the world, but no, that website was already taken.
Jeremy, I got an email or a text from somebody in Iowa that wants me to build cars for him.
Was that me?
No, it was Dan Rothwell. Is that somebody you're familiar with?
No, but if you want to send him my website, that'd be awesome. What scale? There's so many scales.
He said there's like 6 tracks around him. And he's just getting into it. He's an HO guy.
Oh, HO, yeah. There's a big HO community.
No, but he's getting into 32nd scale.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I don't know what.
Wait a minute, I do know that name. He showed up 2 races ago. You're right, and he was interested. It's a
Okay,
scratch. Are you scratch building or are you tuning a
No,
regular car?
he's sending me the rules. I said, I need to know the rules and what cars you're running before I can tell you what I can build. So yeah, he's
Okay.
interested. He sounds like he's hooked.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I think I know that name. I'll have to change the rules real quick and make sure that he doesn't win. I don't like that he's
Now that
outsourcing
Jim's
his,
got the rules and he's building a car for him, change the rules.
the whole point of having a scratch built club is you can do it. I mean,
Yeah.
What's the website again?
www.imar.club. It's on the right side. If you look in the rules, I have it posted over there. But yeah, we're voting on new rules in January, so he may want to wait till January.
You run like normal class, like NSR and slotted and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah, we do like a Scaleelectric NASCAR event, Scaleelectric Trans Am, and then we'll usually have 2 classes that are stock, 2 that are a little modified, and then 2 classes that are anything you want to do. But it's usually
I'll
like
tell
slotted.
him not to let anybody take his cars apart.
Yeah, well, too late. I already know who he is now. I won't tell anybody else though. Don't worry.
Okay.
All right.
Whatever happened to your barbecue guy?
Barbecue guy is still there. He comes every once in a while, but he ain't cooking. That's the problem. So I'm not really enthused. Like if you have a skill, like I have a computer skill, I always help everybody at the track. This guy makes barbecue, but he ain't cooking anything. Like, I know it's like I've tried to get these girls that are strippers interested in. They're not interested either. I don't know why. Just not a hobby they're interested in, but you always hope. All right. I'm kidding. Anyway, if you're in Iowa, stop by. Everything's like an hour away. You'll get anywhere in Iowa.
That's the United States for you. All right, Mike, it's your turn. Look up.
Yeah, look up. We had all 3 of us here this weekend, and we raced some interesting cars, and I'm getting a reputation among the 3 of us of blowing it in the last 10 or 15 laps. Making a mistake and not doing it, even though I've got 2 laps ahead. But everybody won at least one race, so that was kind of cool. Of the 3 of us, and it was good fun. We ran the supercars, Porsche 935, Carreras, and a Scaleelectric Pagani. And when I tried them, the Pagani was the fastest, but the Scaleelectrics or the Carreras both came out on top for some reason. I don't know why. Shiggy was just having a lot of trouble with the Pagani afterwards, but he was tired, so who knows? Other than that, we had a great time. Good time all the way around. And like I said, everybody won at least one race. And I blew my chances on winning 2. So don't crash on the last 2 laps.
That'll do it.
With the damage points down.
Or even if you're even Stevens, you're going to lose 5 feet and you won't have enough time to gain them back.
I finished 2 feet behind.
Yeah.
So, but it was still fun.
Good stuff. All right. Thank you, Mike. And I'll go ahead and do mine real quick. Shouldn't take long. And so this is a picture of the car we ran for King of the Hill. As I mentioned before, King of the Hill is the host picks from any car offered by anybody other than himself. And then it's basically a fast lap challenge, right? So you get 10 laps to get your absolute fastest of the 10. So you can crash as many times as you can crash every single lap except, well, you can crash every single lap and then whatever your fastest lap of your crash laps are. But obviously, if you don't crash, that's probably going to be your fastest lap. But it's a fun way to for the people who just want to get a fast lap to compete. So I put this up and Roger picked it, and you can see in the video how it ran. Needs better grip, but otherwise, it ran okay. And there is the outcome. The names are in order of King of the Hill is run by who has the lowest number of cumulative lap times from the beginning of the series. So I've been leading the pack, unfortunately, for most of the time. And I say unfortunately because the leader has to run the car first. So he does not get the benefit of a warmed up motor or warmed up tires, or whatever. Lots of cars will get better as you race them, because between each person, everybody gets to get clean tires. So the tires get more and more grippy, tend to get more and more grippy throughout the King of the Hill competition. And everybody else gets to see what mistakes are easily made, which is why the fastest guy goes first. But I still remain on top. I got the fastest lap with the Glickenhaus, followed by Pat, and then Ramjet, and other people. Some people who are watching this might know. Next up, we ran IROC of Ninco Moslers with no traction magnets, otherwise pretty much bone stock. And those were a lot of fun. There's a video of that as well. And as Nincos are, some of them hop, some of them don't, some of them are loud, some of them are quiet. Each car was a different car from the next. But I managed to get the most points. Looks like I got the most laps too. So in this, I had the advantage of watching the guys race the lane 4 car, which was just not a good car. So I managed to get as many laps as I could on lane 4, which pretty much put me, at the top, because most of the other guys came out in lane 4 because it's such a fickle car. Unfortunately, I did not do quite as well in our series race, which is Racer Sideways Group 5. We're running Scaleauto Pro Comp foam rubber tires on the back. This is the car that I've been talking about using the Nivea hand lotion on. So far, so good. It's been working great, still working great. But I pulled third on this one because I had a couple early offs. As you might already know, we run crash and burn, 2-minute heats with a pause at 1 minute. So if you crashed in the first minute, you get put back on, you get to race another minute. I had a couple of early offs and did not pull nearly as many laps, 178 versus 188, so 10 fewer laps. But I got a few wins, which is always nice. And we had a lot of fun. That's pretty much it for me.
Greg?
Yes, sir.
Which tires did you have on the Glickenhaus?
So we're running the super soft, the white stripe Pro Comp foam rubber. They allowed any because that's
on the Glickenhaus. On the Glickenhaus.
Oh, I'm sorry, on the Glickenhaus. Thank you, Dennis. The tires that I happened to throw on were F22s, slotted F22s. And interestingly enough, we were using the Scaleauto tire cleaner, which is mostly naphtha, to clean them. And kind of halfway through the bunch of guys, I'm like, I'm not even sure this is benefiting the tires anymore, because every guy was having you clean the tires before they tried their 10 laps. And about halfway through, I'm like, I'm not even sure that's good, because every time somebody would start their 10 laps, their lap times would get better. And a lot of times they would have their best lap towards the end. Whereas if the tire cleaner is improving the grip of the tire, you usually get your best lap within the first 2 or 3 laps, and then it goes down from there. So I suggested to one of the guys, I'm like, maybe this isn't so good. And he was hitting that buzzer every time he went around. He was getting a faster and faster lap. And that was Roger. That's why he got 3rd place. If he had done the tire cleaner, he probably would not have been 3rd place last night with the F22 tires, which I find interesting. I remember we used to put the tire cleaner on those things all the time, but at least on Sport Track, doesn't necessarily mean a good thing to keep doing it multiple times in the same night.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's what was on the car.
I've seen that happen before, where the some of those cleaners tend to make a kind of a glaze on the tire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I felt them, if somebody finished their 10 laps and I'm like, these feel pretty grippy. I don't think they need anything else. You should just run it. And lo and behold. Alrighty, I'm done. Luff. Sorry, Paul, you've got your mic open. I'm going to mute you. Go ahead, Luff.
Short history. I was involved with the Vancouver club. We used to race twice a week. Had 8 to 10 wood tracks that we raced on. Then about 3 years ago, we moved to Vancouver Island, and the house had to have a spot for a slot car track, of course. So the first thing I did was build a track. Figured we could start up a club here, and then COVID hit. So I haven't raced for 3 years. And in the meantime, I joined the local car club, and we got about 80 members, all hot rod guys. So just before Christmas, I had an open house, and we had 10 guys show up. None of them knew anything about slot cars, so it was just pretty much chaos, but they all had fun. But we never did organize a race. And then this week, one of the guys came back and he wanted to check it out. He's already talking about ordering cars. So he's into it. And there's 4 or 5 other guys that are going to be involved. So it looks like it's going to take off.
Awesome. Good stuff. Now you need to pick a name and advertise.
Well, yeah, it just, with COVID, it's hard to get stuff started, you know?
Yeah.
But
well,
yeah, it's looking good. I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, it's good to hear you're getting back in the swing and you got some people wanting to race with you.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Thanks, Luff. Anybody else? It looks like Gio, you want to talk about Club Corner stuff, or is that your hand up from earlier?
No, I mean, I would like to kind of show maybe a couple of pictures of the racing we do over here, if it's possible, or I don't know if I ever kind of talk about this.
Hey, Giovanni, are you from a company or something? Do you showed us this 3D printed stuff. Who do you work for?
Gio's Gruns on the forums.
Okay.
I don't do any 3D printing stuff. I mean, not yet, at least. I mean, I'm gonna steal some knowledge from Greg, or some kind of consultancy stuff, because I need to buy a printer as well, or a couple of printers, but maybe, yeah. Anyway, so
good luck on that. I'm trying to as well.
I know, man. Yeah. In fact, I don't want to.
You just need to open yours up, Paul. Sorry, go ahead, Gio.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, just to mess around with the screens here. So yeah, as usual. I'm trying to open the bloody thing.
I can't open it from here. Sorry.
I know. I'm just trying. So the share screen doesn't see the pictures, basically. iPhone, iPad. Screen.
Yeah, I'm not the only one then.
No, mate, and I have a PhD in computer science, so fucking computers. Sorry. We're not
with a big stick.
The recording is still in progress, right?
We're okay. We're way past the first 30 minutes. We're good.
We're good. No kids.
No kids. You want to keep messing
Throw
with
the
that?
money in the tip jar. There's a curse jar.
There's a curse jar. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I call it club, but it's just like a bunch of, I don't know, 5, 6 usual per night that arise on my place. So I have a Scaleauto digital track that has been converted to full oxygen, and we race with RCS02 as our software. So the class that we race, it's usually GT3 cars. So using the kind of a Disca, so the European type of approach for the GT Euro series that they do down there. So what we do is having like minimal body weight, and then we fix the gear ratio, the type of motor that we use, and tires. So most of the cars that you see over here have been kind of prepared by me. So the first 3 cars are from kind of people that have started, or let's say it's kind of silver type of driver, if you want to use the same terminology as like a real racing. And the last two is that I mean the Porsche, the Coca-Cola one is mine, and the Ferrari is from Mike Do, that he's guy that has like an analog track. He's pretty good, pretty consistent as a driver. So the other three, so the McLaren here, the Martini one that you see, the second from the left, is from our newest member. So this guy started basically a couple months ago, and once I prepared the right car, he has been making a lot of nice progress. So we start usually from the pit, and we do 5 minutes practice. So we start from there. We just start going around for warming up motors, tires, check if there is anything wrong with the cars, and then at the end of the section, then basically here it's kind of the ordering. I mean, this is basically practice is based on best lap times. I mean, at the moment, yeah, because it's a practice, we just take it kind of slow, as I said, just warming up. And then we move into qualify. So it's a 5 minutes, and the qualify basically kind of defines the starting grid. So you want to go for the fastest lap. One thing that I should mention is that we also use simulation. So we have a fuel and tire simulation. Anyway, so again, starting from the pit, people go out. Yeah, so what you do is you try. So we start with something like 50% of fuel, because the amount of fuel influence how much power you get on the car. So 50% you almost are at the kind of top performance of the car. So you start to basically burn fuel, getting into it, and the last couple minutes is when you start having like a good laps. However, one of the things, especially when you're like top drivers that are fighting for those milliseconds to get to the best lap, the other guys also getting faster and faster, and sometimes they push too hard and track hold. So sometimes you are on your fast lap, and just before the last corner someone crashes, and then boom, everything track holds, and sucks. I mean, really, because then you have to start again from scratch, and especially when the time is kind of getting closer to the end of the session, it gets a lot of pressure, which is it's nice. I mean, I enjoy that a lot. So as you can see, this is the first three. So we go out from the left. So the first three are the silver drivers, and the other two are the more pro drivers. And this is the section of qualify. So, okay, these are my trucks, so it's no surprise there. I don't always qualify first. Even I prepare the cars, there are a couple of guys missing here that are also pretty quick. So I don't always finish first or qualify first. But in this case, no big surprises over here. But what I really enjoy is that if you look at the silver drivers, so number 8 racing here is the newest guy. So he managed with his nice McLaren to kind of beat up the other two guys that have been around for a while, so racing. So which it's quite nice when you see there are kind of basically two kind of classes of drivers and racing going on the same track. So once the qualify is done, then we move into racing. So we put the car on the grids, and so on the grid, so the grid is set by the qualify. And then we do racing for 40 minutes. So we have 4 races per night. So each 40 minutes. So this is the starting grid, and this is how we end up. So in 40 minutes, we did 115. I did 115 laps. Second was 112. You can see the fastest lap over here. And then over here, you can see that, even though Mike, the new Mike, so number 8 racing was the quickest in qualify. He managed to get basically 4th. Terry was so T-Team Terry was a 3rd, and Combi, another Mike, 5th. And they are pretty, okay. So maybe not all of them, but sometimes these 3 are very close in terms of the number of laps. Even like after 40 minutes, you have like 1 or 2 laps difference. So then, based on these results, then we move on race 2. So again, grid is set up based on that, and then the results over here again, first two basically no big difference there, big surprise. But now this time combi, I mean one of the other mics basically managed to, with the BMW, managed to come third. So the new mic still fourth and third last. And what you can still say, it's like, you know, the last figures over here, like 7, 6, and 9 that you can see in the last column, those are the damage points, how many times you crashed during a race. I don't know if, so the last column over here. So where you, like in my case, I have 3 crashes, or I could driver 3 crashes, and then so on and so forth. So the crash makes a huge difference in terms of, you know, when you're going to end up in the race. So then the third race, we do in what we call dusk setting. So I shut down every lights except for one, and grid is still set in the same order as the previous race. So, and we start with this. So that's why basically, you know, we have to have lights on all the time. So all the cars are installed with the front and rear lights. And results over here, again, things change a bit. So Mike, this time, the new Mike come third, and third is fourth, and the Mike with the BMW combi team fifth. And then we move into the last race. In this case, what we do is we do reverse grid. So from race 3, so we do the reverse grid, and this time is completely in dark. So it's pretty interesting because you have, in this case, you also have like the slow silver guys that, you know, they have to get experience starting from the front of the grid. So we have a false start detection, so you cannot start until basically all the lights are off, and, you know, gives them also an opportunity to kind of lead for a couple of races. Then, you know, the others, I mean, the quicker drives then try to find a way. But it's a nice way of starting, especially in dark, and, you know, pushing a bit the less experienced guys to feel a bit more pressure from the guys behind. And to be honest, I mean, we never have big crashes or people jumping on top of each other. So it's pretty cool. I mean, the group is really into it. And this is the end. So as you see, I don't always finish first. I don't know what the heck happened, but Mike, or rocket driver, basically beat me. I don't know, came out of blue, man. I was not expecting that. I mean, the last 2 laps, I mean, after the last pit stop, he was in front of me. I said, what the heck? And I was going like hell to try to chase him up, but I didn't manage to beat him. And yeah, so that's what how we end up the night. So it's always, yeah, I mean, and what I really like is that, you know, you can keep people out, and you can, incidents can happen, about the group. I mean, I try to enforce, or try to basically make sure that they understand that you don't have to push other cars out, and try to be always, you know, as polite as possible on the track, so clean passes. And the group basically is getting it. Always, you know, sometimes you have especially new guys that can mess things up a bit, but most of the people are really super supportive of each other as well. So it's good competition, but also in a good way. That's
awesome.
all. Thank you.
Good stuff. It's always fun.
Nice. Did you say the heats were 40 minutes, 40?
No, sorry, 14, 1-4.
I was just going to say, for 40 minutes, 120 laps is only 3 laps a minute. I was going to say, how big is that track?
No, it's so big, man, so big.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, good lap is a 5.7. If you're really pushing it, yeah.
Cool. All right.
It's 20 meters, yeah.
Okay.
All right, thanks for sharing, Gio. And Big Den, you are next, sir.
Yeah, good. Pardon me. I'm just trying to think of a sentence where I can put solder and aluminum in the same sentence, you know. Okay.
Aluminium is hard to solder.
What did he say? I can't understand his accent. Not a lot of racing being going on down here, obviously, for Christmas intervening, but we did go down to Phil's. I did go down to Phil's. Seems a long time ago, but it's only last week. And for our Christmas race, Phil dragged out 4 of his previous proxy cars, and we just ran each car on just moved our controllers from lane to lane, and just had a point system. So, you know, the cars were of differing abilities. I found the red one, this is a Maserati, I think, and the orange one were the best to drive. But it was great, and it was a fairly close result. And one of the guys who doesn't feature a lot on podiums managed to win the race, so it was a good result. So it's just I think there's only just one more picture there to.
Yeah, Big Dan, are those two Frog Eye sprites there?
Oh, I'm not sure. I think the green one might be, John.
The green one is a Frog Eye for sure. Well, I think
Yeah,
the other one too,
yeah.
but it has flares or something.
The red,
Yeah, that
red one's an Alfa Romeo TC.
Yeah, the red
Oh, is
one's an Alpha.
TC2.
Alpha is it? Oh, sorry, I thought it was a Maserati. They said, but the blue Ferrari. I know. I think that's a 166, but that didn't feature in the race.
Yeah, that
But I
looks
know-
like was that a Ninko perhaps, or?
I don't know, John. You know, I didn't even notice it until someone took the photo. I was too busy trying to keep them on the track. There was something wrong with everyone had trouble with the little green one. I think it was like a guide problem, something like that. So that's all I've got to share. Upcoming racing. I'll just look at my sticky notes on the side here. Our local club in Lagana Seca, as we call it, starts up again on January the 6th, next Friday night. I'm hoping to get down to Hobart a few days later on January the 10th for a track that I haven't been to for quite a while. And my next flight, depending on Jeremy's membership drive, I'll be booking a flight to Iowa because a couple of his new members sounded quite interesting, you know, so ladies, yeah. So let me know when you recruit them, Jeremy, and I'll book that flight to Iowa.
Wait a minute. I'll go too.
It was like it was negative
that?
41 here
Porkies you're
last
going
week,
to?
so you let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, well,
Dan?
you know, you might have something to warm us up when we get there.
I thought you were
Jim,
going
can-
there for the wine, Big Dan.
Yeah, for the Iowa wine
Dead.
and corn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
The other one.
Porkies.
yeah.
All right,
The only
let's
other,
keep it on topic.
yes, okay then. So I'll mute and take my hand.
All right.
Then
We've
it's
all been-
Porkies you're going to.
We've all been chatting away, and while we've all been chatting away, Krista has been sitting there working on something, and he's done more work in the last hour and a half than the rest of us put together.
Are you gonna guilt trip him into doing a show and tell?
Yeah.
Lola.
Oh wow.
124?
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you back home?
Yeah, I'm home now.
Ah.
I have to go to the factory. We have started new mill, paper mill here. So lots to do.
He sent me photographs the other day. They were up in the mountains, and it's snow everywhere you look. And I thought, well,
And
this
cold.
California boy is staying right where he is right now. Thank you.
We had over 20 minus outside.
And
The
that's
whole- the
Celsius,
whole
not
place.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
I can show you a new Alfa Romeo 33.1 Tipo.
Oh,
Nice.
oh,
It went on Imola 67, this car. So
Gorgeous
it's
car.
a Schöler chassis, little modified by me.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
the
lovely
body
stuff.
is what?
Body is from Stefan Wiesel. He's not still around anymore. It's a resin body.
Oh,
He was one of the best model maker, making molds and so in Germany. He
Are you
died
based
on
in
the-
Germany, Christer?
What did you say?
Where are you based? Are you from Germany or
No, no, no.
Sweden.
I'm in Sweden.
Okay.
Yeah, I race sometimes in Germany. Model racing cars, 124. I can say a sad thing about Stefan is that under a race in Neumünster, he died under the race.
Slot car race?
Yeah, slot car race.
There was another one that died at the slot car race too. I'm trying to think, some years ago, a German guy. Oh,
yeah. Very sadly.
I can't think of his name now.
Do you want to see some more?
Happy.
Dennis, what have you started? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Christopher, I guess the chassis hasn't arrived yet, right?
No.
Not yet.
No.
Okay.
No. Daniel Alison, Alabama Gang, Chevy, 1972, I think. Something
Beautiful.
like that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we take,
Sorry, Chris,
we
that's
take
a Montecarlo, right?
yeah, it's a Montecarlo. David Piper's car from '69. It's a paint design with lights and everything on it. And this car went Mountain Pack, the first race, 1969. And I built this for the 50-year celebration of the race 2019 and went down. I was invited there. So I built this car for the event.
Beautiful.
I don't know, David's still around or?
As far as I know, he's still alive, yeah.
He had to be 90 years.
Well, he's old, and he lost a leg in that accident at Le Mans.
Well, no, he lost it while filming Le Mans.
Yes,
No,
that's what I mean.
The film. I saw him live. I have seen them when I was a small boy, but I saw him live. The first historical race in Sweden, 80, I think, 80 or 81. He was up with his Ferrari 330, I think.
He had a number of Ferraris. He is still alive. He is 92 years old.
Oh,
you to it.
Oh, dude, I've got a laptop and a phone going here, so I'm ahead of you all the way.
He's born 31 then. 1931.
Sorry, people, who we are talking about? So is
David Piper.
Oh, David Piper.
Oh, okay. I didn't know nothing about old drivers.
Hey, Gio, do you want to do that lighting tutorial? We got plenty of time to squeeze something in. Never mind.
Can I have a picture? Can I see your dog, Greg?
Sorry, my dog's going crazy.
So we cannot see. I don't think we've seen him or her.
Okay. Well, maybe actually I'm looking at the clock. We don't really have enough time anyway, so.
Okay. Do you want me? I'm ready to go if you want.
How long do you think it'll take?
Well, 15 minutes. I think it should be okay.
Okay.
Unless you have other things.
So we still need to figure out the prize situation.
Oh,
so.
Okay. So then I think let's do that first. If there's any time, otherwise we do another time.
Yep. Okay. So does anybody have anything that they absolutely must believe must be a prize? No. No. Okay, so help me out here. Let's find a.
I did have a question, and that we have one of the prizes that will take up the entire amount. So if that's included, that'll be the two RC cars.
Yeah, I'm thinking not the cars. I want to go a little bit different this time. So I'd rather do tools than cars. So
I think Henry's tool is probably the most unique thing you could give.
Yeah. So and he's been very generous. So I'll only have to pay for shipping. So I'm not even going to really include that in the budget. I mean, if we can keep the rest of the stuff under 200, that'd be even better. But so Henry's test bench, H&B test bench will definitely be a prize. But we still
definitely a solder.
I'm thinking the Hacko solder and iron. So if somebody could help me locate one of those for, Dennis was saying about $100. You said the Hacko 601.
I got mine on Amazon for like $78. Amazon has them.
Let me check.
Just make sure you get the right one because they have two different versions, like a
FX 601.
Is it 601 or 601B?
601.
Hold on, I've got it up right now.
Everyone's looking at their shoulder nines now.
Soldering irons.
So it's a Swedish one.
Is this the one you were suggesting, Dennis?
Ask
Yeah, that's
Dennis
the one.
Samson. Okay.
Yeah, so that looks like good, 75 bucks we'll call it. So we've still got some budget for another 100, around 100 plus
25.
maybe.
Come on, Greg, you just want that price because it's blue and yellow.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about replacing my soldering iron with this. So yeah.
That's a good soldering iron.
Okay,
Definitely a Dremel.
Oh yeah, the rotary tool. Let me see if we can find.
How much is a Dremel?
Well,
Actually, I think that's a good combination, one to cut and one to put together.
Dennis was suggesting a Proxon. What one was he talking? Oh wait, here we go. That's a good looking brand. Lots of expensive things. There's a Carver. That's too expensive. Cordless rotary. No, that's too expensive. Precision rotary for $100. Oh, I'm going to share my screen here.
Don't you have Dremels over there?
Yeah, we got Dremels. I mean, but
these are better
this
than
is
Dremels.
better.
better than Dremels
Yeah.
apparently. So,
I mean, the thing is with some of this stuff, I mean, you need a kind of a base from where to take power. So just, yeah,
yeah, these aren't.
to
I
be
wouldn't.
aware of that.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't go cordless for a quality tool like this unless they have a really good quality cordless.
Go up, scroll up a second.
This looks
So
good.
these look good, yeah.
I think that's the one I have.
Yeah, it's a very nice tool.
That it's got a metal collar, so you can cinch it into a drill press vise too.
Yeah.
Or they actually have a tool so you can put it on a lathe.
Oh, okay. So I see what you're saying. So you can collar this
Clamp
up.
around there.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
they actually make it. They make it so it's a accessory for that, so you can put it in set it as a lathe tool.
Ooh, this even comes with a fancy.
Turn it into a two-post grinder.
Yeah, treats tires really well.
Right down to the house.
That's what I bought it for, is actually to make HO tires.
Wow.
What's that from 24th?
No, I made HO tires with it.
Okay, so I think I've got my list here. So we're gonna do an H&B test bench, the Proxon precision rotary tool that I was just showing off, and the Hacko 601 FX that I showed off a minute ago.
That's cool stuff.
Yeah,
Sounds
so you
good
get
to
to cut
everybody?
it, solder it, and then test it. That's perfect.
I think
Exactly.
I'm gonna participate this time then.
That's fine. And it's open to everybody, even people who are, you're absolutely eligible. However, those who have won contests in the past are not eligible. So if you have won a prize, you can enter just for the fun of it, but you're not winning. Sorry, I'm going to be that guy. We want to spread the love as far and wide as possible. So now the question is, how do they enter? Anybody? I mean, they're going to have to do something.
I say because of the nature. How about 2 words? Brass chassis.
Ooh, yeah. Is that
Blue and yellow?
I like, yeah, I like Jeremy's idea of membership drive.
Membership drive. The blue
Membership
and yellow
drive.
brass chassis membership drive.
Closely followed by Sunoco.
Or Roger Penske.
The Roger Penske blue and yellow Sunoco brass chassis.
No one's gonna make that.
Membership
512.
Beat the
Yeah, no
shining
one's winning this
sea.
one.
Okay,
Oh,
so
dear.
I like membership drive. That sounds like fun. So if you want to enter the contest for one of those 3 prizes, you can only choose to enter for one of those 3 prizes. You must put a comment in the comments of the YouTube video, not any forum or Facebook group that you're watching this on, but you go to the YouTube, you put a comment under the YouTube video with membership drive, and the prize you are hoping to win as part of your comment. Have fun with it, be creative, be funny, but don't be dirty. And then
Such as
next week we'll do 3 separate drawings for the list of people who have entered. The cutoff will be basically, right before we start next Wednesday's chat, which will be the early chat. Did I miss anything?
So can I ask a question? I mean, this is like, never done this kind of stuff before. So we just have to put the membership drive.
You have to put a comment, and you can be super lame and boring and just say membership drive H&B test bench.
Okay.
Or you can be clever and funny and come up with some comment that has those keywords, membership drive. They do not have to be together, so you can.
You can actually drive the membership if you want.
You can drive the membership. Yeah. So as long as those 2 words are in there, and then your chosen the prize you're hoping to win is in there, then I'll collate all the names and what prizes they're vying for, and then we'll do 3 separate drawings next week. And
so pick one of those 3.
One of those 3. Yep.
And one of the reasons Greg uses a keyword in there is because he wants the people watching to watch the whole video, and that way they have to know what to say to enter they can't just go through the comments and see all the comments, membership drive, and then they would just type membership drive and go. So he's hoping that everybody watches the full video.
Yeah, the more clever the better, because like Jeremy was saying, I don't want somebody to just look at the comments and say, oh, okay, membership drive, and then blah. People have done the keyword as an acronym, like they've written a whole long comment where the keyword is the first letter of multiple words in the comment. That's going above and beyond. I love it when
some people don't have lives, right?
I mean, we are all a bunch of old men talking about
spend
slot
2
cars
hours on us slot car chat.
You're talking about us, Dennis. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have just wasted another perfectly good 2 hours.
Yeah, and we're going to waste more even after we hit the stop button, as per usual.
Greg, when you if you're gonna have 3 separate drawings, you're gonna have 3 separate categories for the 3 different items that people are selecting from that, right?
Oh, should we have different keywords?
No, please.
No.
No, we'll just stick with the same 2 keywords, membership and drive, and then the thing that you're wanting to win. So there will be separate, people will separate themselves by indicating what of the 3 prizes they want to win.
Exactly.
So it's test bench, Dremel tool, what is it? Hand tool?
Rotary tool.
Rotary tool and soldering iron. Yep.
Soldering iron.
Or soldering iron.
Either way.
Either way. However you pronounce it, it's spelled the same way. Put that in your comment and smoke it. We have 5-ish more minutes. Gio, do you want to slam some pictures up for us, or should we just waste away 5 minutes and save that for the next time you're on?
For the light kit, I think we can do next time. I can swap other pictures if you want, but
cool. We'll save your light kit thing. Go ahead, Courtney.
All right, so Jeremy, you've 3D printed some resin bodies. Have you had pretty good luck with those?
Yeah, real good luck.
I got one of the Volvos from him the other day. Yeah, he printed me a Volvo. It's gorgeous. It really is.
Did you see it last week when last time I showed him?
I think I did see it. I mean, I'm needing they're doing that 50 era proxy. I'm looking at a Aston, but my question is, do they hold up? I mean, if you send it off for a proxy, it's going to get crashed. I've seen in my Pinewood Derby days, we used to coat the cars with CA glue. Have you tried CA glue on the inside of those to stiffen them up?
I have not, but I've heard other people are doing that with different resins. I'm using a tough resin, so I don't care. I've already crashed mine 3 or 4 times and nothing's happened, but I haven't crashed it off a table, down a few stairs, and then, you know what I mean? I've seen guys make spectacular crashes, but just off a table, I'm not sure. I could give it a try if you want. I don't care. I'll print another one. You tell me what you want me to test. I'll test it right now. I'm a madman.
I was gonna say, what resin are you using? I think Dennis.
Here, let me see.
There's something going on in Iowa tonight, that's for sure.
We're trapped
Right.
inside. We've been trapped inside for 2 weeks now. Yeah, like I said,
cabin
it was
fever.
with the wind chill. It was -41 last week, and I thought I was gonna die.
He's been smelling that resin for a couple of
I've been eating, I've been drinking it.
Jeremy, we call that Canada.
You call it what?
We call
Oh,
it Canada.
Yeah, look at John. See what happens to him. That could very well happen to me.
Jeremy,
Hang on,
I
let me
couldn't
grab
read
the body. I got a
label.
body here. You guys keep talking.
What was the resin? I couldn't read the label.
That was a Soriatech blue.
Blue?
Yeah. So
They
that's
don't make Soriatech blue and gray.
it's clear. I mean, the Soriatech blue I have is clear. I assume they make it in multiple colors.
Yeah, but they're all clear colors, and his bodies were gray. So I'm wondering if he's mixing that with something.
So I've got the 510 body. I don't know what would be a good test of it, but I mean, I throw it, hit the ceiling, hit the floor. Let me take a look.
Are you printing straight?
So I bounced it off the ceiling, then it bounced off the floor, and it's still in perfectly fine condition now. Oh, wait, I got a crack.
Uh-oh.
I got a little crack on the fender here.
Are you doing a mix?
Look at that.
Brave. You got brave.
Jeremy, are you doing a mix, or is that straight 100% Soriatech blue?
I'm going straight Soriatech blue 100%. Okay. Now, I've got some other resins I haven't tested yet. Let me see.
At least it's better than that JS chassis I done.
At least it's still in one piece.
Well, mine
Oh, it's
wasn't.
fine.
Mine-
A little glue would be fine on this one. So I haven't yet tested the UV cleared tough resin. I did that on Dennis Gipperling's body, and it was fine. It held up. And then I've got some Sanulu PLA, this is supposed to be like an ABS strength resin. I don't know. But
How
I
much
mean, it
does
held
cost
up. It
for
held
one
its
bottle?
form. It just got a crack right there where it landed. But I mean, I don't know. If I threw a Scalelectric body up, same thing would happen.
I was gonna
so.
say, if you did an injected body, it'd probably be worse.
Maybe.
So
I don't know.
I haven't done any FDM. I've got an FDM Prusa, or FDM based Prusa printer. Where's a good site just if I want to go and basically just print something and throw it at the wall? I've got a couple of HRS2 chassis that I haven't done much with. Any recommendations on favorite sites?
Well, I got the Glickenhaus that I showed early on. That's available from Colts 3D, and I'm going to put a link in the video description to that.
Great.
And it's currently free.
It's free, yeah. And
Hey,
there's other.
Courtney. Okay. Email me. I've just put my email in the address there. Shoot me an email address or something, and we can talk about what you need. But if you want a body or something sent to you to test it out and see how it goes, we can make that work. I was trying to get hold of you anyway. I had some questions for racing. What's up, Paul?
There's Paul's printer he's not using.
Paul, you do have to take it out of the box for it to work.
No, it is out the box.
He's picking it out. It's just collecting dust.
Yeah.
It's not like R2D2. It just you got to actually do stuff and make it do it.
Hold on. He has used it. Look at all the stuff he printed in paper.
Yeah,
It is holding up that box. Awesome.
Yeah, Bill, there's lots of places you can download, variety of slot car stuff from. There's some bodies and chassis on Thingiverse. Colts 3D has a lot of bodies. I think that's primarily where Vlad's or Nimrod's bodies are ending up via
And
chat.
the ones that Steve Hendrickson did and Paul Chapman as well. I think they're all there, aren't they? So there's lots of Can-Am stuff out there.
And if you saw something that was printed that you can't find on Colts 3D or something like that, go to Home Racing World and go to the 3D forum on Home Racing World and PM one of the guys there and say, hey, can you help me find that, or send it to me, and they'll send it to you or tell you where to get it.
Gotcha. I've been busy on the layout, but I don't know. You guys are tempting me over here, and this printer is just sitting here idle. And I know this thing. Anytime you print it, it takes forever for it to print anyway. So
I think
I could use the heat in the garage.
My yellow and red Glickenhauses should be done by now.
I'll take a look. Thank you, Greg.
My printer's been idle for about 3 years now, isn't it?
Oh, I want to say one last thing before we go. Greg, we're going to have a test, or we already had our test for math trading on the Facebook group. This month of January is going to be our first official one. So if you're in the US and you want to trade some slot cars, please join that group. Obviously, we know most of you in this chat. So
yeah, so if you got something sitting around that you want to trade, join the group and we'll
Hey,
do it.
Paul, maybe
I've
your
got an
3D,
entire
maybe your 3D
junkyard.
printer, Paul.
Yeah.
US only for now. keep postage costs low. But yeah.
Hey, Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, and everybody wave bye-bye because I'm hitting the stop button now. Bye.
Happy New Year.
Bye.